Hey everybody, welcome to our live stream of Kid Chaos. This is the largest kid I've ever seen.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's quite Neanderthal-like for a kid.
Yeah.
So this is a magnetic fields game.
I like their opening. It's got the cool orchestra stick.
Yeah, it's the this was a pinball, right? Or
no, they did Lotus.
That's
stuff.
right, Lotus.
Although 21st Century had the an awesome sort of opening too, musical.
Yeah,
remember that
I think
big
that's
Sphinx looking thing?
Right, that's what I was thinking of. All right, so let's get it going here.
Man, you get the joystick already set up and everything, eh? Shazam!
So one thing I like about this game is at least they didn't make up jump.
Well, they didn't. That's true. I don't like that about the game because
Would you rather have up the jump?
I would rather be able to swing the club at my leisure. I'll be honest with you. This is an odd game. And we'll get more into it during the show, but the title character is as unlikable a character as I've ever played.
Yeah, yeah.
He is god awful.
Yeah.
He's stupid looking. His reactions are stupid. I know he is a caveman. If you've watched this to its end, spoiler alert.
He's a caveman.
He's a caveman. So why they didn't just make him bonk like or Chuck Rock? That would have explained a lot more.
And there's lots of friendly cavemen, you know, that are that you'd actually want to play as. You could play as Captain Caveman.
It's funny that we just recently played BC Kid or Bonk, and we were very high on the fact that he had a lot of personality.
Right.
You know, this guy is devoid of any personality. I mean, he has none. He's got a military haircut, and he just, I mean, even when he's up in the air, it just looks, I mean, I don't mean spinning. I mean, when he gets sprung up in the air, he flies like an idiot. He
right.
just, I mean, and I don't mean in a funny way. He just sort of doesn't do anything.
Just sort of doofus-like.
It's amazing to me how beautiful the parallax is, and how, and really the foreground's nice and pretty nice looking.
Yeah,
but he looks like, I mean, he is the crummiest character.
Yeah, and this game suffers from do more damage, man.
You haven't killed enough flowers.
This game suffers from,
I think, two more.
Kind of a muted color palette too. I feel like they could have made the colors a little bit brighter. Everything's sort of a shade of brown or green in the background. The title character is the most colorful guy, and that's not saying much. I'm trying to locate the rest of these flowers here. And
you passed one, but that's okay. Just keep going this way, you'll find some. I was amazed that you got that far into the level and didn't kill it. There you go, just kill those. Now you can leave.
Okay. Did they explain in the instructions why you have to kill flowers? Is he an anti-environmentalist?
That's odd to me. I mean, that's another aspect of the game I found strange. It's like the plot of this game is, well, I know why it's like this, having done some research on it. This game was not Kid Chaos, the Caveman Teen, in its build-up. It was actually several different things. And at one point, Kid Chaos was a cat.
Really?
Yeah. That was at one point. I read an interview with one of the two guys that worked on this, two main guys, and this guy was a cat for quite a while. I believe it was a cat. I'll have to look at my notes. Yeah, this guy they changed this title character around several times. And so, amazingly, this is what they ended up with.
It's odd because this was definitely made trying to ape the mascot platformers that were so popular. You know, Mario and Sonic and all that stuff. Amiga desperately wanted some sort of a mascot.
The funny thing about this is, if you look at that beautiful background and the speed that this guy's going, the fact that we're on the OCS, and the fact that you had the not a bunch of weenie or idiots programming this, guys that knew what they were doing. All the elements are in this game to be an awesome platformer.
Right.
And I'm not. It's not crap.
It's not
as
crap.
much as I'm not. I'm just not high on some aspects of it. The title character I don't like, and something else I don't like at all is the level design.
Yeah.
It's like they watched the song. This reminds me of when we reviewed like Super Frog or Zool. It's like they looked at the elements of Mario. In this case, it was Sonic. And they said, well, hell, we could do that. We could, and they did. They simulated almost every element, but when it comes to level design, it takes some care.
Yeah.
And what you're doing, see what you just did right there? That's exactly my point. I think it's the third level. It's the most infuriating level to get through because of the positioning of those stupid things. And they would knock you back like the whole level. And it was, that never, I've played plenty of Sonic. That never happens in Sonic where you get, those things are positioned to screw you.
Right. And this is,
They shouldn't be.
Yeah. There's a fine line between challenging and frustrating.
Right.
And for whatever reason, you know, so many of these European Amiga developers.
There it is. See?
They got the sound right. I mean, I'm not crazy about this style
I'm not
of music,
either.
but I mean, it doesn't sound bad.
It's not Sonic though.
No.
Not even close. I mean, again, if we're going to compare this to Sonic the Hedgehog, which everyone does.
Yeah, this is
and the thing is, the Amiga could play any music you want.
Yeah.
It's just this is the much like a lot of the other games, sort of that
generic European
dance.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to win any awards.
No.
This is not Turrican 2.
No. And it's
or Shadow of the Beast or
and
something.
it's definitely not Green Hill Zone 1. Some of the
it's
greatest
more
music
like,
of all time.
You know, it's...
This could be in any game. This could be
Absolutely.
music from any game.
And so the music lets it down. But I mean, like I said, there are aspects of this that are good and fun. And I don't know if you watched. I watched a full playthrough of this to completion, and the ending levels for this are baffling. Because at the end, it simulates like Arkanoid and Space Invaders.
Really?
I mean, the ending, and it's to me. Well, again, I looked for proof of this. To me, it felt like they just didn't finish the game, and they just stuck some stuff on the end. And from the playthroughs I watched, now I couldn't get far enough into the games to get to those points, but just from watching the playthroughs, I just could. I literally had to go back and check and try watching another playthrough to understand what the hell was going on. I mean, there's some Space Invaders, and these are the last levels in the game.
It's weird. It's like you said. Maybe they just had a couple other things in development kicking around.
This was developed late in the Amiga's lifespan, and I just wonder if they were like. And also, this wasn't released anywhere else, and so I wonder if they just said let's cut our losses and finish this thing up. It's not a long game, Stuff like this. Again, when you're trying to simulate a sense of speed in a game, like Sonic encourages you to haul ass, right? They got ramps and tubes and junk. I mean, occasionally you'll have something in the way you have to jump over, but it's made to go quick.
Right. This
game, the design is such as they when you try to go quick, you're punished.
We thought that was another big problem with Zool. They really bragged on the speed of Zool, but you couldn't go fast because you'd immediately die by spikes.
Exactly. And Zool was another game that had the potential to do so. Now, I've read Zool 2's better, and I have Zool 2 for the Jag, and I've fired up the Jag, so that's the one we'll have to look at some point in the future. But again, this thing not being on any other system. Look, there was some animation finally where that's one of the ones that's where he goes sideways, but the straight up is nothing.
Right.
But I mean, the end of this level is so infuriating. How anxious for you to get there, just so you can be infuriated. How far did you get into this, if I can ask?
I played it. I wanted to save the bulk of my playtime for when we did this because I was afraid that I would be so demoralized that I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't have much
I don't remember. I've never even seen that one. That is ultra cheesy.
Yeah.
That's a death pit right there. There's no way you can get out of that.
And there's nothing that tells you that that's the wrong way to go.
Well, you can go that way and then go up. That's what I usually do here.
Okay.
This part here, I had trouble controlling it to get him up this.
Yeah.
And this is pretty simple as far as
platforming goes. But,
you gotta jump off. There you go.
And then get back on. All good. A life token.
Well, yeah, but at least you got out of there.
Yeah. So I need to jump straight across here. Oh no, I did this before because this is this part.
Yeah, there you go. Now just don't go down. Just don't fall in the pit.
Okay, I can do that.
No, don't fall in that pit.
Well,
that's the one you fell in.
Okay.
Fall in the other pit. Exit that way. Something else about this game that I thought was really strange is the underwater parts, which is where you're at now. Basically, can you tell a difference between being underwater and not being underwater? I mean, it's not much.
You move a little bit more slowly. It's sort of like anti-gravity.
There's no bubble. How's this guy breathing?
Yeah, well, don't worry how he eats and breathes.
Didn't cavemen breathe? I'm just saying, in every other game, you can be underwater. I mean, there are some games that you can, but I mean, they at least simulate swimming, for example. You know, he just walks underwater.
Yeah, it's laziness.
I mean, Mario swam at least.
Wait, I'm not doing well. Why don't you take over here? Hold on, let me have this back.
All right, I'll give it a quick shot here. I got plenty of slack. You're okay.
Yeah. This music is truly awful.
Well,
I'll hit the red
what happened
button,
there?
Hit the red button. Okay.
All right. It's not awful.
Well, I hate Euro dance trash. So, if you're a clubbing kind of guy, this is probably right up your alley. That part kind of sounds like Lionheart. That part right there until it kicks in with
and Lionheart's music's way better than this. I'm telling you, as we play these platforms, you're gonna have a new appreciation for how good Lionheart was.
This is still. Would you say that Lionheart is a better game than this?
Oh gosh, of course, so much better. I mean, I know people are gonna like they're hating this game. I don't hate it. Also, the enemies, at least on these area levels, are kind of lame. You know, but I mean, really, most of the enemies, you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah, the enemies don't really pose too much of a threat to you. And another thing, when you're Sonic and you start going fast, you become invincible, so you can blow right through bad guys. No such luck in this game.
Well, I will say, let's talk about the good parts of this game. You know, and there are some. They didn't go crazy with the pickups, that seems to be a trend with these type of games, like your Zools and your.
That's true.
I mean, there's.
The pickups that are in the game mean something.
Right, and it's not crazy time.
Right.
You know, so that's cool. The sense of speed is tremendous. I mean, they did a tremendous job on that. I like the fact that you can bounce on top of stuff and like work up your damage.
Yeah, yep.
That's pretty cool. It's got all the elements you need for, like I said, for a good game of this type. It's got it's got disappearing ledges, and it's got little pickups and checkpoints and all that jive, hidden stuff. If you look around, you can find some hidden levels or underwater stuff that lead somewhere. The power system, I think, is pretty. I think it's and this is a compliment. I think with the exception of the level design, it's a pretty fair game. Right. I don't feel like I'm getting ripped off. I mean, there are parts that I don't like, and it's level design. But I mean, if you take level design out of it, I think it's I feel like if I lose, I don't feel like it's because the game's screwing me. Yeah. That's true. I like it did the same thing that Zool did. That's the stuff I don't like right there. It does the same thing Zool did with making you open the level by collecting stuff, and it does it better than Zool, in my opinion, because Zool, there was so much crap, it just drove me nuts. I like the fact that if you see an enemy, you can kind of go off screen and then he's gone. I always like games to do that, because also you don't have to fight the same guys a million times. Right. You can just kind of sort of bypass guys like that, that's handy. All right, but I like the screens look nice. The way it's laid out, it's nice.
This is cool. I like the statistical analysis of your level. I like games that do that.
Yeah, not to mention, okay, I missed a lot of extras in that level. Right.
So this is cool. This is probably one of the best parts about the game, is it gives you a reason to go back and replay.
And these things here, where you get this, little brief. I mean, they're okay, but really, there's a lot of information, but really doesn't mean anything, does it? I mean,
you do the same thing in all the levels.
Piranha-infested waters, blah blah blah. So again, more Euro disco,
Euro dance trash.
Well, I mean, I like house music, but I mean, this is as generic as it gets.
It kind of sounds like the Mortal Kombat song a little bit.
It sounds a lot like it. It's killing me. This level here is a real bear of you. I will say the levels are long, you know. They give you a lot of bang for your buck, you know, on them. These uphill sequences, he's so slow getting up them for a game that is about speed. Oh,
and that's just
cheese-a-roo there. That stupid thing.
What was that you just did?
I don't know what I did. Oh, he wasn't swinging his club right there. I guess that's right, when you get knocked up that way. That is my least favorite part of this game, aside from the cave.
Let me try something real quick.
Once you get
out of there, you gotta go the other way.
Dadgummit, here you go.
I want to see if there's an extra move we don't know about. I want to see once you get moving quick, and try and find that spring again. Because I saw you do some sort of a weird twist. Maybe it was just a trick of the light.
There's the spring on there.
There's that spring. No. No, it's not. There are no extra moves here. Well, what do you say, just for fun, we compare this to Sonic the Hedgehog?
Okay.
All right, so we'll get out of here and load up Sonic.
Looks like the chat room's up and running and healthy.
Yeah. Hey, Daz, Henrik, Nakzr, Necronom. Let's see, emulators. Starts with an E. We want Fusion.
Venerable Fusion emulator.
Yep, it's been around forever. We definitely don't want any 32X ROMs.
That's it.
That's Sonic 3. How do I not have...
Sonic Classics has it.
Okay. And we'll just add a new window here. And put our... Let's see. We need the camera on top. Get rid of that guy. Alright. And we'll just make this a little bit smaller.
Real-time video editing.
All right. Here we go.
Is your stick set up with this?
Oh, yeah.
You skipped it. It was on the right one. There you go. Start button.
Stick's not set up.
I knew it. I knew it. It's partially set up, at least.
What we want. Input. Oh, my gosh.
Set as...
This is always the weird one. I thought it would be here. Set config.
Controllers.
Oh, okay. And then, yep, define. Okay, up, down, left, right. A, B, C.
Get start button.
Oh yeah, that's important. Oops, I accidentally hit the wrong thing for the start button. Dang it. One more time, everybody. Use for button X.
Yeah, I remember 6-button stick, yeah.
Okay.
Now we're ready.
Where's our sound? There we go.
There we go.
So...
I've heard this song as much as I've heard any video game song ever, probably.
Yeah.
I just,
Now, already, we talked about how good the parallax was on the Amiga version.
yeah.
Parallax is pretty good on this version,
The
too.
Amiga version blows this away, parallax-wise. Here's the problem. Look how colorful and beautiful and chipper, right? This is. This has the sound effects. Those ring sounds are awesome. They're attractive sounds. You know, the even the dirt looks good. You know, they didn't just go with brown.
Right.
Now the other game's got the bricks, but this is better looking. You know, loops. Also, what would you rather collect? Flowers or rings?
Right.
Just that in itself is goofy. You know.
Well, you're destroying stuff in the other game, you know, like, I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing to do, to destroy flowers.
Now, all that said, I am not the biggest Sonic fan on Earth.
No, me neither.
Okay, but I mean, the Amiga can do everything we're seeing. I think almost.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's what makes it disheartening to a certain degree that they didn't try.
Well, they didn't. I don't know that they really knew.
Well, Sonic was out, obviously.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just don't think that they knew how to do this stuff. Like all of these tricks that the Genesis uses, the blast processing. That's a marketing term, but it was obviously programming within the system.
Yeah.
104. Update that real quick. So yeah, let's just play one more level here.
The colors are part of it too.
Yeah.
And also look at the character. I mean, he's cool looking guy.
I like the way that his shoes are animated. Like there's multiple frames of animation for his shoe. Like you see the underside of his shoe.
Now, let's look at the flip side of this.
Okay.
Sonic Team was a team backed by one of the top 2 video game making companies in the world at the time.
Yep.
And this was a team that was comprised of some of the top programmers, video game programmers in the world.
Yeah.
A full team, mind you, with guys probably specifically in there. They had a top shelf musician, probably level design guys that were like top in the world.
Yep.
All right. The Amiga version of Sonic, which again we're talking about, which was Kid Chaos. You've got a couple guys working on it. I mean, literally, there was only 2 guys that did the majority of the work.
Right.
And probably a team of maybe 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
I guess what I'm saying is this is the difference between a team game versus individual programmers game.
And
too.
that's the Amiga by and large was an individual programmer system.
Sure.
You know, it was only the consoles that really had the money to put huge teams together. And really, I don't really know how big the original Sonic team was, though. I mean, it might have just been a couple programmers. We don't know. Have
you ever watched the credits for this? I mean, I think it's a pretty good-sized team.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure it was bigger than the team that made Kid Chaos.
Something else you could do back when you did games like this, you could have focus groups. You could decide, you could pick, I mean, I'm not saying Sonic did this, but the bigger games could decide which mascot was the most appealing. They could draw upon years of experience in making games similar to this. Like Magnetic Fields, I don't know what their platforming pedigree. I'll look at my notes, but I don't think it's large.
Right.
Now they knew what they were good at: simulating speed, graphical abilities. I mean, and if you consider that a team of 2 or 3 guys that worked on that, it's actually quite remarkably good. But it's not going to be. If you're looking for something that's like a Sonic killer, you know, it's a Sonic killer like Rise of the Robots is a Street Fighter killer.
Right.
It's just
not.
You know, and of course, a huge team worked on that too. And you saw, so it's not the team. I mean, Jordan Mechner did Prince of Persia. It's a classic, right? It's a huge team worked on Rise of the Robots, and it's not. So it's not a hard and fast rule by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. There's just something about Japanese developers and their skill with the platforming genre. You know, for whatever reason, they figured out the right way to do it. And
now that said, was Adam's Family? It wasn't Japanese manufacturer.
That was Ocean.
So obviously,
but that's the exception that proves the rule.
Well, yeah, and really, they had a jump, I guess, to a certain degree. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. I don't know if Japan had a lot more platformers earlier than.
Oh, sure they did.
US.
I mean, Super Mario Brothers came out in 1983.
Right.
1983, before the Amiga. So I mean, there was a long history of, and think about, you know, Ninja Gaiden and all those games. So, but you know, when it comes, that's just the way that I see it.
So we could agree though on a few things. That we think a duplicate Sonic with the quality of this one could probably be done on the Amiga.
Absolutely.
And then we also agree that for the small team, it was a very valiant effort.
Mm-hmm.
But we also agree that they made some choices that we probably wouldn't have agreed with in terms of character, colors, sound, and level design.
Right.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you on the show. We'll talk about it some more. Adios.
Adios.